We want to get out right now to Philip Crowther, live in Kyiv, Ukraine this morning for us. Philip, most notably, Putin announced that Russia would no longer participate in a nuclear arms treaty with the U.S. So what should we as Americans take away from that? How is that being received?
Yeah, we just heard actually from one of President Zelensky's closest advisors here in Kyiv, Mikhailo Podolyak, on the Telegram channel, saying that he believes that what he saw in Putin's speech was his irrelevance and confusion. Now, the truth is that despite the disdain that the Ukrainian government and the Ukrainian people, obviously, for what has happened over the last year have for Vladimir Putin, that doesn't mean they haven't been following this speech closely for pointers as to where Russia might want to go in this almost year-long war here in Ukraine. There was clearly no let-up here from the Russian president. He says that Russia will be expanding further. And what this indicates to us here in Kyiv and to people in the rest of Ukraine is that obviously Russian attacks will continue and might even intensify. The fear here is that there could be a large missile attack on Ukraine to coincide with the anniversary of Russia's full-scale invasion in just 3 days' time. It's been relatively quiet here in the capital, at least over the last 48 hours or so. But that does not mean that the fighting has seen any let-up in the east and the Donbass region, the fighting there as brutal as it has been for months now. Something worth mentioning here from the Ukrainian perspective, of course, from Putin's speech is that he said this, that it is impossible to defeat Russia on the battlefield. Now, Ukraine has proven very clearly over the last 362 days that Russia can be defeated on the battlefield. In fact, there aren't many successes that Vladimir Putin was able to talk about in his speech that the Russian army might have had on Ukrainian territory.
Philip, I know that we are awaiting what word we'll get from Warsaw, Poland, as the President Biden, that is, meets with President Duda. But how have people in Kyiv been reacting to Mr. Biden's visit there? It was a surprise. Clearly, it had to be kept quiet because of security. But also, I mean, the fact that an American president went to a war-torn country, that's something to say.
Yeah, and it leads to a lot of pride, actually, here in Ukraine, that President Biden made the way all the way here to visit President Zelensky. It is an extraordinary thing to see. And it is, of course, something that seemed very, very improbable, maybe just a few months ago and definitely a few days into Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Now, taking away from all the seriousness and brutality on the battlefield, the Ukrainians are having a good time as well with Biden's visits. There are a lot of memes going around showing the U.S. president in front of local supermarkets, for example, or having some of the local ice cream. And the head of the Ukrainian railway company, by the way, particularly proud of having been able to bring Joe Biden all the way here to Kyiv. It was 20 hours he spent on the railways altogether. And by the way, he also said sorry for some delays that some trains in Ukraine might have had because of that very long journey that Joe Biden was on yesterday.
Philip Crowther, live in Kyiv for us. Really, what a time in history for us to be watching this all play out. We look forward to more of the president's remarks. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.